Hello, children. Good day. Welcome to our virtual class in English 4. I'm Ma'am Eloisa Bernadeth B. Sagusay, your English teacher for today. Today, we will tackle your Quarter 3 Module 5 in English 4, entitled Use Appropriate Graphic Organizers in Text Read. But, before we will go through in our discussion, let us know first our virtual classroom rules. Be on time. Act like you're at school. Sit in a spot during class. Listen. No eating during class. Have fun and do your best. Of course, during our lesson, you have to bring with you your English Quarter 3 Module 5, your pen, and your notebook. In this discussion, we have here our learning competency. Use appropriate graphic organizers in text read. And at the end of this lesson, you are expected to identify the use of different graphic organizers, read the short paragraphs and fill out the details needed in the appropriate graphic organizers. Appreciate the importance of using the appropriate graphic organizers. Now, I guess you are ready for today's discussion. Let us begin this with your first task. Task number 1, entitled What I Know. Directions. Identify the name of the following figures. Choose from the box below. Number 1. Number 2. Number 3. Number 4. Number 5. Now, let's check your answers. Number 1, Venn diagram. Number 2, fishbone. Number 3, semantic web. Number 4, fishbone. Number 5, semantic web. Now, did you get a perfect score? Great! Good job! This time, let's go to our task number 2. Directions. Use the Venn diagram in describing the characteristics of reptiles and amphibians. These are the characteristics of reptiles and amphibians. Reptiles. They have a backbone. They produce egg. They can live both in land and water. All reptiles have scales, and they are cold-blooded. Amphibians. Many of the amphibians undergo metamorphosis. They are also produced from eggs. They begin their lives in water and live on land as adults. They do not have scales and also cold-blooded animals. Now, you can start answering. Are you done? Great! Now let's check your answers. Let's read first the difference between reptiles and amphibians. Reptiles have a backbone, have scales. Amphibians undergo metamorphosis, do not have scales. And how about the similarities? Produced from eggs, can live both in land and water, and cold-blooded. Did you get a high score? It's okay. Don't worry, because we are about to go deeper on this topic. At this moment, we are now on Lesson 5. Use appropriate graphic organizers in text read. So, let's talk about graphic organizer. let's find out the meaning of this. Graphic organizer. Graphic organizer is a visual display that depicts the relationships between facts, terms, and/or ideas within a learning task. It is a visual thinking tool that make pictures of thoughts. Actually, there are kinds of graphic organizer. We have Venn diagram, fishbone, and semantic web. Now, let's find out first the Venn diagram. Venn diagram. An overlapping circles to illustrate the relationships between two or more sets of items. It presents how things are being organized, their similarity, and differences. Example. Let's read the difference. Mammals, warm-blooded, have hair or fur, breathe with lungs, have live births. Fish, cold-blooded, scaly skin, breathe with gills, hatch from eggs. And the similarities. Vertebrates have skeleton. And let's proceed to fishbone. Fishbone, a cause and effect diagram, also called as Ishikawa diagram. It is a visualization tool for categorizing the potential causes of a problem in order to identify its root cause. Example. Causes: typhoon, cutting of trees, storm, infrastructure, improper garbage disposal, and rainy season. And the effect of these causes is flood. Lastly, semantic web. Semantic web builds side-by-side graphical representation about the key themes. Its purpose is to visually display the connections between words, phrases, or concepts. Example. In the center, our subject is sports. Now, what are those sports? We have volleyball, basketball, football, tennis, boxing, and baseball. So, those are the three kinds of graphic organizers. Just put it in your mind that we have Venn diagram, fishbone, and semantic web. I guess that you know already the meaning of graphic organizer and the three kinds of it. It's time to have our activity number 1. Activity number 1, entitled What's More? Directions. Read the following short paragraph and fill out the details needed in the appropriate graphic organizers. Paragraph number 1. The King of the Jungle. The lion is the king of the jungle. They are big and strong. Lions weigh 400 pounds and stand 4 feet tall. If you feel the hair on its face, it is soft. And you can find a lion in Africa. They can live for 15 years in the wild. They like to sleep in the grass at night. Lions eat meat such as zebras, giraffe, and buffalo. Now, let's check your answers. Our subject is the lion. And lion is the king of the jungle, eat meat, big and strong, weigh 400 pounds, 4 feet tall, and live for 15 years in the wild. Now, let's go to paragraph number 2. Headaches. Headaches can have several causes. Many people think that the major cause of headaches is nervous tension. But there is a strong evidence that suggests a diet and environment as possible factors. Some people got headaches because they are dependent on caffeine. Other people may be allergic to salt or allergic to household chemicals, including polishes, waxes, bug killers, and paint. If they can manage to avoid these substances, their headaches tend to go away. And when a person has recurring headaches, tend to go away. And when a person has recurring headaches, it is worthwhile to look for the underlying cause, especially if the result of that search is freedom from pain. So, let's check your answers. The causes: nervous tension, suggest a diet and environment, dependent on caffeine, be allergic to salt, polishes, and waxes. And the effect of these causes is headache. And let's proceed to our paragraph number 3. Chinese and American Families by Carrie Lee. Families in China and the United States are alike in some ways and different in others. Many American households include just parents and their children. But Chinese households often include many other family members. Most Chinese families have only one child. However, American families often have 2 or 3 children. Both cultures teach respect for older people, but Chinese culture is strict about it. Families in China and the United States are similar because family members help each other. This time, let's check your answers. Let's read the difference. Chinese: many other family members, have only one child. American: just parents and their children, have 2 or 3 children. And the similarities: teach respect for older people, and family members help each other. Did you get the right answers? That's awesome! Now, it's time to have our activity number 2. Activity number 2, entitled What I Have Learned. Direction: write a short paragraph and discuss what you have learned in using appropriate graphic organizer in text read. In this activity, here are the criteria. Creativity, 5 points. Organization, 5 points. Vocabulary, 5 points. Spelling or grammar, 5 points. And a total of 20 points. Good luck! How about our next activity? Activity number 3, entitled What I Can Do. Direction: say something about your parents. Complete the semantic web below and write some descriptive words that describe your parents. Reminder: you only have 1 day to finish these activities. And please send your outputs to teacher's email address or messenger. I think it's time to assess what you have learned from the lesson. Direction: Identify the following and write your answer on the space provided. Number 1. It is a cause and effect organizer. Number 2. It is used to compare two or more items. Number 3. It is a visual thinking tools that make pictures of thoughts. Number 4. It is an overlapping circles that illustrate similarity and differences. Number 5. It is a side-by-side graphical representation about the key themes. Now let's check. Number 1. Fishbone. Number 2. Venn diagram. Number 3. Graphic organizer. Number 4. Venn diagram. And number 5. Semantic web. Got a perfect score? Great job! We are almost at the end of our lesson. So, let's do this additional activity. Direction. Choose any topic and use appropriate graphic organizer on your chosen topic. Reminder. You only have one day to finish these activities. And please send your outputs to teacher's email address or messenger. And before we will end our lesson for today, let us review what we have discussed. Always remember, graphic organizer is a visual display that depicts the relationships between facts, terms, and/or ideas within a learning task. And it is a visual thinking tools that make pictures of thoughts. And there are 3 kinds of graphic organizers. We have Venn diagram. It is an overlapping circles to illustrate the relationships between 2 or more sets of items. And it presents how things are being organized, their similarity, and differences. Next, we have fishbone. A cause and effect diagram, also called as Ishikawa diagram. It is a visualization tool for categorizing the potential causes of a problem in order to identify its root cause. Number 3. Semantic web. Builds side-by-side graphical representation about the key themes. And its purpose is to visually display the connections between words, phrases, or concepts. And I think it's time to say our lesson for today. That's all about our lesson for today. What we have discussed. Thank you so much, children. See you next time. Always remember, again, graphic organizer is a visual display that depicts the relationships between facts,